Hello again, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Broadcast Podcast, but it's something a little bit different, especially in the video format, as this is our first ever episode on the Universal Wrestling Podcast YouTube page. Alan, how you going?
Hello, everyone. It is he, it is I, it is me, Alan of the Broadcast. Yes, that is right, guys. We are on a new endeavor. Thom, how are you?
Bro, I'm going good, and I can happily say the countdown has struck 0, guys. It's been something I got multiple DMs from many other podcasts saying, what's this, 04 23 23 thing? Or in Australia, what's the 23 04 23 thing? Because in Aussie, our date and month is the other way. But we had lots of people saying, what's going on? What's happening here? And yeah, it's great to know that we've partnered up with, Keith and Nick from the Universal Wrestling Podcast, some great dudes, and also partnering up there with the Bloodline Entertainment Network. So a wealth of other podcasts that we joined, and we're adding some international flavor, I would say, with us on the broadcast.
Yes, two Aussie fellas, two Aussie brothers, all the way from the land down under, have come here to be your viewing pleasure right here and now. Very, very cool.
Just looking for my mute tab, and I don't see it actually on the Riverside app. Do you see? Where's your mute tab? Do you see yours?
You just click on the mic, and it just goes in mute mic.
Look at you. Look at you all Riversided up now, haven't you?
You know it. Did my research. You know what I'm doing now. Yep. This once podcast of many, 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 many moons ago was just you and I sitting at your place with the actual microphones that we had at one time were SingStar microphones that were actually duct taped to, I believe it was like a stand, very much like this one here, but it was very shottily done. But hey, we did what we could when we first started podcasting.
Well, even before that, we actually didn't even have mics. Like when we first started, we had an iPad that would just like sit on the table, and we would kind of lean in if we had a comment to say. Even a few times we used to use our phone. Like my original old iPhone, like 6 or 7, that was our original microphone with no headsets. Like we would actually watch a movie, but have the volume down on the film so that wouldn't be picked up on the mic as we're trying to actually record our show in those early days.
Is it our third episode? I think we did. We introduced our brother Nathan, and he was on the show with us. And we were on our way to an NXT show that was down here in Australia. And how we set it up in the car was ridiculous because you could hear us faintly in the background, but you could hear Nathan perfectly because he was sitting in the back. We were sitting in the front, and how the phone was positioned, it was basically... Yeah, I don't know what it was. He must have had really good, leverage where he was, but for the rest of us, we were just like... And I've only listened to it once, and once was enough. I was like, Jesus, what are we listening to here?
I think what we did, I think we actually took a mic into the car, but the mic was kind of in the back seat where he was, but wasn't aimed at us in the front seat. So, we're talking to each other, but the mic's in the back. So when he had a comment, he would lean into the mic and sound clear, where you and I are twisting to say something, and it sounds like we're cars away from him. Mm-hmm. But yes, that was our, what do we call it? I think it was triple threat rules, where we did a 20-minute chat. But again, we learn. I've had a few laughs with people about what software do you use to edit, what mics do you use when you record. And even the 2020 year, I would say was my most challenging year on this show because that was the first time we ever went online. Mm-hmm. And we had different headsets. We were picking up different frequencies. Yes. I would hear hissing in my microphone. There would be static. We would lose internet midway through a recording or before a recording. We would have weather storms. We would lose power. But that's the joys, guys. I'm looking at the camera. Becoming a podcaster, that's what happens to you. You have to take all that stuff into account, and it helps you grow and move forward. But Alan, how you been? Haven't seen you in a few weeks. Did you enjoy WrestleMania?
I am doing well. I've been working quite a lot, which has been good for me. It gets me out of trouble. We're discussing Mania. Okay, cool. Night one, enjoyed thoroughly. It was very much an enjoyable night, evening, actually morning. I started, it was a 10 o'clock start down here for us in Oz, and I watched it with my boy, and he and I enjoyed it, and my partner also got involved and watched it with us as well too. It was quite fun. It was interesting because we have spoken about this a few times that we almost predicted mostly what was going to be set in seeds that will be coming up now. There's happening in current wrestling, but happening back then, we were just like, oh, this is very interesting how things are going to go like this. And also the projections that we thought was going to happen. And there's some many things that didn't happen. Night one was thoroughly enjoyable. The hands down, the Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair match was just 10 stars right there. I thoroughly enjoyed that match. It was so incredibly well done, and it was so very cool to have an Aussie girl, Rhea Ripley, to get the W, and that was very good to see. And then also, you were right about the main event. I thought that the women's match was going to be the main event, but the storytelling of Owens and Sammy versus the Uso Bros for the tag titles. And I never ever thought in my life that we would ever see a tag team match for the tag team titles in a main event at a WrestleMania of all the times. And in Vince McMahon, I don't know if he was at that time, I remember that Vince McMahon would never allow something like that. He would never allow a tag team match for the titles to ever be. That's a tag team is mainly like maybe the match before, but it's never the main event. It's always a triple threat or a 4-way or a 1-to-1 or a cage match, a Hell in a Cell, you name it. It's just how things were just aligned right there. And I thought, yeah, fantastic. And that match was, and I knew in myself that, yeah, you got to give the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens the win. Give the Bloodline a lot. Sorry, give the Usos a loss. But then there's night two, and I tried, and I tried, and I tried to enjoy night two, and it was a kick in the belly when you thought that the story was going to get told, and it didn't. So, Roman Reigns regained his title, and Cody Rhodes lost with a rubber chicken in the ring. Brock Lesnar was in the very first match. I think that might have happened a couple of years ago with he and Seth. That match happened at a WrestleMania. But again, he went against the Giant, and it was kind of fun, that match. He was being thrown around. Brock was actually taking some decent bumps, and then he got the W. Yeah, what were what's your opinion on both shows?
So I watched night one or day one as it actually took place because that was our Sunday. So I actually watched that with my son, match by match. Terrific show, great matches. One thing you just said that made me think as well, talking about a tag team championship main event. Think of all those years where they had like the pre-show, and that was like the opening match. Primo and Carlito, what's his name? Carlito, in an opening dark match from WrestleMania. It was always like all the tag champs are going to be in the Under the Giant Battle Royal. Mm-hmm. And to think all these years later, it's in the actual main event. And I think the key that what puts it there is story. It's the storytelling behind it. It deserved to be in that spot because of the seeds and stories that took months and months of planning and then having that ending, the happy ending. And I knew that's the happy ending, KO and Sammy winning. We're not going to get it the night after. And you and I shared a couple of DMs and a couple of tweets at each other on the next day, and I knew I could just feel it. I'm like, he wants Cody. He wants Cody to get it. And I'm like, when it happens and he doesn't win, I wonder how he's going to feel. And I think we shared a message, and you were like, I think you just wrote cool to something. Like I could just tell Mania happened hours ago, but you're still feeling like shit. Yep. The story was not finished. We didn't get the ending that I wanted. And I called it. I just felt like it was like, nah, he's got to go through a loss. He's got to know what it's like to be that close and not get it, to get him to come back. But I'm even feeling, sadly, that like I had this idea in my head, like, yeah, they'll get him at SummerSlam. I don't think we're gonna. I feel with this new draft they've got coming up soon that he's going to get lost in the mix. I feel like he's not going to be the one to do the dethroning. How quickly that can change, just again, my perception, my view of the product. I feel this Brock Lesnar feud is going to probably take him out in storyline, but then how does he get back to the Roman matchup? Because if Brock's going to be there, he'll always be the one to jump in front of everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do Roman versus Brock 47 at another SummerSlam for the championship belt. But overall, great matches. I enjoyed the show. I went back and watched night one again last week just to kind of really enjoy the experience of it. And I think it's a bucket list of mine to one day go to a WrestleMania. Yes. And if that means them ever coming here or us ever going there, it's definitely something that I think I would love to experience. And even a few of our close friends, within the podcasting community have gone to them. They might have rooftop seats, but they said it doesn't care where you sit. Like, it's WrestleMania. Like, there's thousands upon thousands of people. It's an international event. There's all the stuff leading up to the show where you can go and, get autographs and signatures and buy championship belts and T-shirts and those big conventions. But, WrestleMania weekend was great. And here we are on our way to Backlash, which is actually coming up in a few weeks. And it's actually not called WrestleMania Backlash, which is actually quite good to have a bit of a difference there this year going forward.
Oddly enough that you say that it is known as Backlash, but Cody did drop a promo the other week by calling it WrestleMania Backlash. I don't know what that's all about. Interesting.
Yes, I think it's the Triple H, directive is let's try and make the, as they call them, the premium live event. They don't call them pay-per-views anymore. They kind of want to have a bit of flavor, for each show and not having to say you've got to watch Mania to watch Backlash. Backlash has always been one of my favorite pay-per-views. I think back to some of the very first ones. My favorite Backlash, I would probably say, was 2000. That was the one when you had Rock, Triple H for the championship. Stone Cold comes back. First time Austin's been back since being hit by the car in November, comes out and actually helps The Rock, become, World Wrestling Federation champion. The month's reign, ended the next month in Judgment Day in the Iron Man. But I always loved that show because it had an absolute classic, which was Dean Malenko and Scotty 2 Hotty for the light heavyweight championship. And it featured one of the most brutal top rope finishes where Malenko DDTs him, shifts his body midway and DDTs him from the top rope and scores an absolute awesome win. But I love Dean Malenko. It was one of my favorite characters. It was not the ladies' man. It was a bit different than that. But what's your Backlash memories? Any show pop up to you? A matchup, a memory, a card, anything from any previous Backlashes?
I think I'm just trying to go way back, but I believe it was the follow-up of Edge and Mick Foley after the table spot at that Mania. I can't remember which Mania it was, but I think it was a month later. Well, I think it's like 4 weeks later. I think was that at the time where Mick turned heel and he joined up with Edge, and I can't remember. It was somebody called him a prostitute. I don't know if it was. I can't for the life of me, but I remember at that time it was a heel turn for Mick Foley, and he became like everyone. It was really kind of fun to see Mick Foley as a heel in WWE. We haven't seen Mick Foley, portray a heel since Dude Love, and that was back in 98, 99. But I think it was during that time he and Edge had that run together, and it was during the ECW time as well too. And so I don't know if it was Tommy Dreamer or Paul Heyman, but someone called Mick Foley a prostitute.
Yeah, I think you're talking about 06. So that was after WrestleMania 22, which we've actually covered. We covered that matchup in the TPK Vault for, I think it was one of our Oh My God from season 1. And I think, it was on the road to One Night Stand where Heyman said, you prostituted your name, you prostituted your character. And then we had Dreamer come in. And then we had that awkward, would have been a tag match that became a 6-person intergender tag where we had Lita, Edge, and Foley against Bueller, Dreamer, and Funk. And what happened to poor Terry Funk with some barbed wire there, Al?
He took some barbed wire to the eyeball, didn't he? Mm-hmm. My eye.
And he also fell backwards on a board, I think, too, in the back of the head as well.
And we've also covered this as well, too. We've done so many shows, it's ridiculous, but we actually did cover that in the entirety of that show. Yeah, that was night 2, wasn't it? The second one they did, or was this the first one? Yeah.
We did both. We did a bonus episode. I think there was something where we reached a certain amount of followers and we're like, oh, let's do One Night Stand 05. Mm-hmm. With the idea being next bonus show we'll do 06. But then we reached that limit of followers like a month later and had to just do it anyway. So we taped both. But that was a great show. That was Van Dam versus Cena
for
the WWE title. And what else was it? Taz versus Jerry Lawler.
At the beginning.
The opening match, yeah.
We had Rey Mysterio take on Sabu, and the match got called off because Rey got DDT'd through a table, and the physician there, the man was like, "I'm calling it off. It's over." And who was it? Eugene came out and started reciting a poem that he wrote, and out came the Sandman and beat the mentally handicapped up with canes. Yeah, I always liked it
too. I thought there was Mike Awesome on that card, or was he on the previous one? Because I think he took on Tanaka, didn't he? And they had like a 5-minute Smash House match, but I don't think they fought the year. I'm going to pull up the card just to actually see, because I think it was that year, or it might have been another one. No, it was the year before, because 06 was Balls Mahoney took on Tanaka in a 5-minute one. Yeah. Very nice.
So, what is the plan of attack tonight, bro?
Well, guys, if you actually have been checking out our show, thank you for doing that, on also the Universal Wrestling Podcast YouTube page. You can check us out on Twitter at The Broadcast. That's TheBrokast. Also, send us your promos if you want a promo to be featured on our video or audio, broadcast2@gmail.com. You can also check us out on Instagram at The Broadcast Podcast. I'm actually putting in a LinkedIn for us that'll be coming up very soon, where you can show all our content in one simple place. We're actually going to be covering a Backlash match this episode. We're not going to do an entire pay-per-view. Again, Alan and I both very busy men, and we have some gaming to do after we do this episode. So we're going to be just covering one match, and we are traveling to the year 2004. This was, again, a year that I have touched on that I wasn't religiously watching the product. I kind of came back in 05, maybe 6, 7. I dropped out again and then came back in around 8, 9. But this is the big run of Evolution. Evolution is a mystery, but they are actually beating each and every contender from Triple H, Batista, Randy Orton, and Ric Flair. And this is the last match that would actually be the end of Orton versus Foley, as we are watching their no-holds-barred match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. And this was from Backlash 2004. Any comments, Al, on this one?
I believe at the same time as you, I was not watching wrestling religiously. This was on a on-again, off-again thing for me. So this will be an interesting match. I remember there's one particular spot in this match. I'm not going to say what it is because we're going to watch it together with all of you. But there's one spot in this is just it's tattooed into my brain, and I believe it might be the people there that night that actually were at this pay-per-view and witnessing with their eyes, and also being in the crowd and also watching on pay-per-view would be tattooed into their brains as well.
I agree. It was definitely a crazy match. I watched this yesterday just to kind of get a couple of notes, and I'm like, man, I haven't watched this in so many years, but I'm like, there is a lot of spots. It's brutal. It's something that you really wouldn't see Randy Orton ever actually going through. To think the Randy Orton Viper we have today, someone that's bled, there's been fire, there's been barbed wire, there's been broken shoulders, broken collarbones, sledgehammers, punts. But this was a different Randy Orton. You know, this was the young gun in Evolution, one of the longest IC title reigns of the time. He won that championship from RVD, I believe, was the previous Armageddon, which actually was the show where Evolution won all the belts.
Yes.
You know, the actual show ended with Evolution on the rampway with the World Heavyweight, the IC, and also the World Tag Team Championship. So we're watching this either on Daily Motion or you can watch it on Binge. So this is actually the sixth match on the card. So we have our links on our audio description and also our video links so you can watch along with us. We'll also have our numbers be popping up just about here, so you can actually sync up and actually watch along with us. But before we actually do that, we want to give a shout out to not one, but two great wrestling podcasts. Check these guys out.
Hey, it's Chris from Markin, the only online listening experience in the world. Join myself, Dave, and social media influencer Brandon as we release a weekly podcast that covers the world of professional wrestling. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on all major podcasting applications. Follow us on Twitter at Markin Out and watch all of our great videos at youtube.com/markinout11. And as always, we wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
What's up, everybody? I am the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Matt Ritter, the host of the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub. Yes, you heard that right. And I'm here to tell you about the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub, the Smackin' Raw podcast. Me and my co-host, Vince Delgado, and Miss Katie Kinsey Bebe of the She Lead Showcase do a weekly recap where we cover Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, and Rampage. We are on Pornhub, YouTube, and every audio platform you could think of, and we are spitting what we don't like and swallowing what we do every week. We've also got guests from some of your favorite podcasts. So if you want to have fun, take your pants off, put in your headphones, pull up to your favorite listening or viewing device, relax, and just have a good time. Catch up on the week in wrestling in our own unique way. Come check us out. You guys can find me at Matt Ritter, that is at MATTRIDDER, on Twitter only. There you will get Linktree/Smackin' Raw. That'll get you all of the audio platforms as well as Pornhub. You guys can also check out Linktree/Creation World, and that will get you the YouTube, the merchandise, and the Pornhub, as well as other great podcasts from Creation World, which is the banner under which the Smackin' Raw podcast exists. If you want to get everything in one shot, go to creationworld.com. There you'll find Super Flash Hero of Tomorrow if you're a fan of DC CW superhero stuff. If you want to check out the Smackin' Raw podcast, if you want to check out our other show, Return to Wrestling, where me and my co-host Travis go back in time and he forces me to sit down and watch old WCW Nitros and pay-per-views, and I have to suffer through Hulk Hogan repeatedly. If that sounds like something that you think is fun, come check that out as well. We also have a YouTube-only show hosted by Vince called Spitter Swallow that you can find on our YouTube. We've got so much content for you. Dungeons After Dark as well. That episode 2 is coming. It is our most viewed episode on Pornhub. So if any of this sounds appealing to you, I can't wait to have you guys come follow us, listen to us, and interact with all of you. Like I said, take your pants off, pull up, get comfortable, and let's have a good time.
All right, guys, we are back. Alan, could you give us our countdown?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and get ready to press play with us in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
See, I always laugh when I look at that rampway because it brings me back to that 2000 one when you had the swinging little hooks. Mm-hmm. And there was actually a hardcore match, I think, on that card where Jeff Hardy did a Hurricane Rana off those actual flying hooks in that I think it was a 5-man hardcore championship challenge or something like that.
Crazy. Look at this kid. Look how young he is here. No holds barred.
With the sleeves cut off too. And look what he's carrying. What's in the bin there, Al?
That's a trash can.
It's a bin, mate.
It's a trash can. We've got some cookie sheets. Looks like we've got some barbed wire. Looks like a 2x4 maybe wrapped in barbed wire. Referee Mike Chioda. The lovely Leanne Garcia.
And again, he was one of my favorites. Always has been. You know, I love when Orton debuted. I love the cocky heel. You know, when he had that Randy Orton news report. You know, what are you doing? I think you muted yourself.
That was a good joke there, and I actually muted myself there, guys. I'm learning. Yeah. Just you, I love my cocky heel.
I didn't say I love a good cock. I said I like a cocky heel.
Yeah, you said cocky heel. I know what you said.
Yes.
I know what you said.
How dare you?
Yeah, hello, everyone. My Mick Foley. Cactus
I was
Jack.
so confused. I'm so confused with this because I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't this Cactus Jack? And then I'm like, wait a minute, they called him Mick Foley. He's coming out dressed as Cactus, but to Mankind's song.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, how weird's that? I'm like, wait a minute. I thought this was meant to be Cactus Jack.
What happened? Randy just destroyed his 2x4 wrapped in barbed wire.
I think he was threatening to throw it at him or something, but then it got tangled, I believe.
This is scary. This is really, really scary. Just like this pretty boy, and here comes...
Jesus.
You touch my daughter, I'm going to take your damn head off. Someone's got... Cameraman down. Cameraman down.
We have a man down. We have a man down.
We have several men down. Oh, my God.
There he is. He's look at the poor fella.
Oh, God.
I've still got to shoot it, though.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. That's actually a really cool shot. Just like paddling up and looking at the two Titans with
Oh, look at that! There we go.
Just grazing the top of the head of Randy Orton. There's a Foley chant, but that's meant to be Cactus.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because it's Mick Foley, but it's Mankind, but it's Cactus. I need some dude love, though. Yep, that was a big one. Jesus.
The headshots are just unsettling. I mean, I love it. Oh, fantastic.
And to think like
so
how long this
is for the
Intercontinental
Championship.
To think how long this has been going for. It was months and months. Like I think he wrecked Randy Orton's Royal Rumble plans. He returned in that and attacked Randy. They had their great matchup, Rock and Sock at WrestleMania 20. Rock comes back, teams with Mick. They lose to Evolution in the handicap match.
Yes. There's a box in the ring there too. I think that was in the trash can that Randy Orton brought out.
Do you know what's inside there?
If it's Gwyneth Paltrow's head, I'm going to be very upset.
I was going to say it's either Hulk Hogan's head or it's a picture of Scott Hall.
Yes. Yeah. What
was that? That was the San Francisco 49ers match, I think, in WCW, where Booker pulled down the Scott Hall picture. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that you went, you went wrestling and I went purely just old, alternative movies. I went to Gwyneth Paltrow, What's in the Box, Brad Pitt, and Kevin Spacey.
What movie is that?
I was about to ask, do you even know what movie? Seven.
Yeah, that's the serial killer one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Morgan Freeman. Yeah, it's just the twist at the end. Sorry for the spoilers. I mean, for fuck's sake. It's been out for nearly 30-odd years, people. Sick of that shit.
Watch it tonight.
No. Here we go.
Mick
Foley with
Jesus.
They call him Rey Mysterio Mick Foley. He slides under.
Look at that.
Splat.
I would have wanted a two-piece suicida, but I'm choosy.
A tope suicida with
by Mick Foley.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh no!
Second, he's gonna drop an elbow. Get down, get down. I love that the referee is like showing compassion to Mick. It's like, come on, ref, you're just there to count the 1, 2, 3. This is a no disqualification, balls count anywhere type of match. Oh, God, he's going for the pretty boy's nose. Watch Mick's head here.
Oh, jeez. Just bounces off the rampway.
And the sadistic laughter of Jerry Lawyer.
That's what always made me laugh in these, like, as you were just saying, these no DQ matches, like the referee trying to tell him not to do certain things. It's like, dude, you're just there to ring the bell. pin or submit. You're not there to tell us how to wrestle the match. Just let us actually look at this ramp. Look at this here.
Oh my
roll
goodness.
up on the ramp.
Roll up on the ramp. I don't think I've ever seen. That's the first time I've seen that one. Kick in the gut. Those kicks in the gut. Oh, that was unsettling.
Did you hear that?
Very reminiscent of. We got a full. No, 2 count. Of Kevin Owens back at the Rumble against Roman Reigns against the steel steps. That was unsettling.
No, that was cool.
Forearm shots to the face.
He's such a good sell too.
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh god.
Here we go.
Well, as we're watching, what's one of your favourite Mick Foley matches?
As you know, if you're a fan of this show as well too, Mick Foley is one of my favourites. In and out of the ring. Oh no, he's got the hands. He's stopping it. There's been a few I think we've actually covered on this show as well too. But yeah, I think as always is the Hell in a Cell match that he had against Taker. It always sticks out as well. It's always a great match. What's that? Oh, mule kick to the dick, to the hog meat of young Randy Orton. Clothesline.
I think there's one thing we realised too with this show, that at one point Foley was like nearly in every single companion.
Yes.
Like nearly every second or every companion at least featured Foley, Cactus, Mankind. I think we had Dude Love once when we covered the 98 Rumble. Yes. But like every alter ego, but nearly every episode had actually featured Foley in some capacity, from an announcer to a GM to a wrestler.
It's interesting to see Cactus Jack with the Mr. Socko.
What's he asking the fans? Which one do you want?
Yeah, which one do you want? And people were cheering for the bat.
Oh, there we go.
All right, let's do a close-up of Mick. Randy is on his... focus right on Mick. Randy doing a quick shear. There we go.
That's a shitload of barbed wire on that bat. That's so wrapped tight too.
Yeah.
Look at it.
And that is...
Jesus. I would probably say one of my favourite Mankind matches. What jumps out for me? This is a good one. I've really enjoyed this one, but I'll probably say two that we've covered. Street Fight, Rumble 2000 and No Way Out 2000. Absolute classics. I would probably choose Rumble 2000 over them all because of that final spot. Pedigree on the tax, brutal, great matchup. My favourite against your favourite.
Yep.
Great time it was. So,
big time. Yeah, and I don't think we'll ever see another Mick Foley's, which is probably a good thing in this day and age. Yeah, I mean, John Moxley can come out and every week and slash his head open and try to be a badass about it, and then you go out and do a shoot program and then have a sook about in an interview, which he loves to do. I know how much you guys in AEW love to have a sook, don't they?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just hearing passion, so...
It's not passion, it's sooks. Bunch of sooky boys.
Well, when CM Punk comes back in Chicago in June, everything will be okay, so, yeah.
Are you legit think that Phil is coming back, do you?
I think they'll work out some deal. I think FTR sticking around for the next 4 years, being close friends with Punk, I think they're pushing for it, so I'm going to say, yeah, I hope so.
Look, I love me some FTR. I think they're one of the greatest tag teams on the planet. But, just ripping off the shirt now. Yeah. It's got, what is this?
Look at that. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh. Like, even the first placement would have scraped him a bit, and then the leg drop on top of that would have just shoved it straight into the scrotum.
And everybody, did you ever think you would say that on this podcast?
I was waiting to. I've been waiting years to say it. So
I know. I was waiting. The word of scrotum has not been used on this show for quite a while, guys, and we're glad to have it back. You know, welcome back to the broadcast. We all scrotum all the time. I do love the crowd was very much into this match as well too. You saw a lot of guys standing there going, "Oh," just throws the barbed wire down. This is pathetic.
That's just broken off the board, hasn't it? It's just broken off. Oh no.
What? The gasoline can and
we have not seen this since someone like Kane back in like 98.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Just pouring it all over the barbed wire.
We're getting some FMW. Getting some FMW action.
I was going to say we got some fire action going here. What?
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Eric Bischoff. Oh God, you're encouraging him
he was
to
GM at this time. Yeah. The problem is too, he's got it near his hand, so that'll like set his arm on fire if he tries to light it. Oh shit, here we go. Don't do it. Look at the crowd loving it. Your mic's off, buddy. Working?
Was this a Raw pay-per-view?
Yes.
Thought so.
Yeah, this is back before. I think they would only come together for the big four. So Rumble, Mania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series was co-branded, but then each of the other ones was also separate. So, and there's the, oh my God, yep, there's the barbed wire board.
What? Why is that under the ring? What,
who made
what
it?
is the what is the purpose of that being under a wrestling ring? What is that to? If Randy Orton's beautiful body ever hits that, Gerald Lawyer, sir.
Made me laugh though. It's like, oh, you got the box there. Wait a minute, no.
Yeah,
like I was watching so many indie promotions do like, what is it? I saw someone put like, what is it, like tin, like dog food tin as the actual sharp blade.
The lids.
Oh, they've put down like
dog
like
food lids
and stuff like that.
Oh wow,
yeah.
You know that shit doesn't work.
Here we go. Watch this. Oh, body slam on the board.
So Randy,
shit.
Randy had some cocaine in the box. That was inside, which gave him, he quickly did a quick snort, gave him some superhuman strength, threw it in Foley's eyes, and then slammed him on on a board of razor wire. Things I would never think I would say in real life and explaining wrestling. No, I don't think it's real. I don't think it's cocaine, guys. I know it's the powder that doesn't do shit that we know that Dallas Page told us in Ready to Rumble,
which you can check out in the TPK Vault, guys.
Yes, I was going to say that's one of my favorite episodes. It's I think we should do we should cover it again if wherever we find out it's like a 10-year or 20-year anniversary of Ready to Rumble.
Yeah. I think it came out in, was it 99? I think it came out, or 2000, I think.
All right, well, 2029, we'll come back and we'll actually do the show for you guys. Oh,
look at that. Front first, too.
And a drop kick.
I love the way they sold that. Like, Orton just countered at the last moment to flip that Irish whip back. Oh, shit.
On the arm, too. That arm's already busted as well, too.
Well, the last big match that we watched that featured this kind of stuff was when we did Moxley Omega. Remember we covered that for the start of this season back in November. The Full Gear match. Yeah.
Unsanctioned match, wasn't it? It wasn't put under the books or... Okay, so we got...
There's the head. It's got the head out.
He's got the head chock full of heady goodness. It's a bowling ball, just like El Snow did.
Before Tess slipped over on a tin, on the bin lid.
trash can lid.
Oh, calm down. That's a lot of tax, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a lot. That is a lot.
That's enough. That's enough.
That's enough.
Shit.
And even Randy's like, okay, I'm going to RKO him into the tax. This is what his plan is. All right, he turns him around, kicks him in the belly, shot to the face.
That's a lot of tax, dude. Look at that.
Yeah. Everyone's standing up too, which is kind of cool, especially during the hard camp. He's going to run up.
Oh, what a counter.
If you want to get a piercing the hard way, this is how you do it.
Far out. Look how he's on his back.
And he's running through it. He's got his knees. Even the referee selling it is fantastic. He's got it in his arms. He's got it in his back, his forearms.
Look at that. He even rolls him in the roll-up, and he has to grimace because they're all on his back. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Look at that. They're all sticking out of him. He's like a pincushion right there.
Shit.
Goddamn.
He's got him in his chest, it looks like, too, on his left pec. He's got a couple in the front there.
He's trying to peck it out of his hand. They're all in his hand. Someone help. Batista, Flair, Hunter, help. Get away from me.
I was actually watching the XPW Dark Side of the Ring the other day, and they were talking when Luke Hawk talks about when he was wrestling and he got a splash through the tax, and he said, I had to sit in the back with pliers and like try and pull him out of my hand. Like he said, they were just so deep in. I'm just pulling, and he said I couldn't grab it. I just couldn't nick the metal lid just to get the first one out. The things that people do, it's crazy.
Yeah, nah. This is, What is he do?
Oh, crap.
Jesus Christ.
Foley throws Orton off the ramp and literally blows up the whole structure there. Shit.
I do remember watching this match and then going, you know what? Randy Orton, he's hardcore. He can take, and this is where he would dom the new hardcore legend, wouldn't he? He would talk after he won this match. It was basically, look at the arm. Look at Cactus's arm there.
That's crazy.
I wonder what happened when they went to the gorilla. What was did they quickly, did they want to go in the back quickly because he probably had the tax inside of his hands. He probably wanted them out or something. Or, it wasn't really explained why they went to the back.
Or is he just quickly checking in saying, no, I'm all good. It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
or he swore at Vince and said, Vince, this is a fucking stupid idea.
Yeah. He's swearing at Vince or he's swearing at anybody that's there. It's like...
It's almost like turned into like a last man standing match. Like it almost could have been like a Texas death match.
Yes.
Which is surprising that they didn't do it because that's a real throwback to like Cactus in like WCW, having those old death matches and stuff like that.
Oh, little Jack Jones down. Hebner's down.
Look at this. Look at that camera shot. Look at that exposed wood though, too. Foley nearly did that.
If Foley wasn't careful, they could have gone him right in the head. Look at him.
Reminds me of the. Do you remember the Sabu doing that in ECW?
Yeah.
He did a table spot and it went through like, almost into his head or something like that, into his eye.
Look at this. Yeet. Wow.
The airtime.
Yeah, that sharp piece of
far out
wood. Alternate universe. Mick Foley's lost an eye. He has a patch on his eye because that thing. Is this? That's right. Full count anywhere.
Oh, that was nearly it then.
That was nearly it.
Yeah. Because I think with the old Texas death match, I think it was either you had to pin them first, and after you pin them, then it's last man standing. Like you've got to get the victory first, then it's a stand. I reckon they should have done that for this one. That would have been awesome.
I think again that sounds like I would imagine Vince looking at that and going, "Oh no, we're not that Southern wrestling."
Oh, yeah.
We're the goddamn entertainment. We're WWE. We make our own rules. We use our own type of matches. We don't need to be that backyard or that wrestling, that southern wrestling. Oh God. Now at this time was I should know this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Was Impact or TNA around this time?
Yeah, I believe they would have done Lockdown because Lockdown was their annual April event.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Did you see Orton trying to pick him out of his back then?
Yes, and several fell out then too. Like he's brushing. I don't know if it's like irritating him or Mick Foley's arm looks like what a great shot that is there. Yeah, does he? I don't know if he rolls over them again. I think he forgets or that gasoline tanker is still in the ring.
The lighter's probably still there too.
You hate to be butterfly DDT.
Oh, kicks out. Yes, the counter programming was Lockdown 06, which was Christian Cage was the NWA champion. He took on Abyss in the 6 Sides of Steel for the world title. And the main event was the Lethal Lockdown Sting's Warriors, which was AJ Styles, Sting, R-Truth, and Rhino against Jeff Jarrett's Army, which was Jeff Jarrett, Steiner, Chris Harris, and James Storm in 25 minutes 23. Great matchup, though. I actually enjoyed that one.
Fantastic. Where's Randy gone? Oh, that was a nasty...
that was a sledgehammer. Yeah.
It's Barbie again. That thing's still got kerosene all over it. And Cactus just took it to his head. Now he's...
Oh.
We have a split. And now that's stuck to his top. He hit him even the referee selling it. Fantastic.
Looking away, yeah.
We have Cactus is putting on Socko.
Look at that.
Orton's eyes. And the mandible claw.
So it really is Mick Foley that we're getting in this matchup. It's like all
It is.
I would have loved him just to do a Dude Love dance on the rampway. I would have loved that, but one day.
You're asking too much, man.
In the multiverse, he did.
In the multiverse, he's got one eye, and Dude Love is another God,
Jesus,
another shot to the meat. Oh, that is a nasty look.
He has to cut his eyebrow.
Yeah. Another shot with the mandible claw.
Oh, look at that. RKO. Do it. Pit him.
Oh.
It's a great matchup. It's been awesome.
What are you doing, ref? Step. Yeah, look at the ref.
Kyoto with tacks in the hand.
Yeah, he's hurt himself.
Shit, I should have done that.
They blur his face out on everything now in that's
really?
WWE related now. Because he left on bad terms with them, he did.
There's another one.
That's going to be it.
Listen to the king. That's it.
Awesome.
That was very nice. I'm giving that a clap. That was awesome.
That was nasty. Nasty match. Just like this podcast, it's nasty.
Well, we had a bit of a list of matches, guys. Alan, why did you choose this one from that list? Did it just jump out? Good memories, good times?
Mick Foley, of course. Cactus Jack, whatever the hell. I do vividly remember the tack spot, which was brutal. And even thinking, here's Flair and here's Batista. You never thought there was just a hope that Flair's just picking them out too. All right, brother, I've been that. The Big Show did it to me on ECW. They got him all off his back pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's that old theory that we said about even with Kenny Omega and Moxley. It just disappears, just fades away.
Yep, that's wrestling. Flair holding up the Intercontinental title. But didn't
also, we did it on Oh My God, Foley and Flair. They had a pretty good war too at SummerSlam.
Yes, they did.
I think they had a last man standing, didn't they? Yeah.
No, it was an I Quit match.
That's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, nice. I Quit, and here we go. Watch this right here. I just looked at that and go, God damn, Randy, you pretty boy. You can take a bump like that. You're a goddamn legend.
But it's his chest, both forearms and back, and also his butt. Look at that, and his thigh.
Yeah, his thighs, yep. Oh, that piece of wood sticking out, that is haunting. I mean, that was a hell of a spot, but come on. That's nasty looking. That is really nasty.
But even Randy hit the bat as well. His shoulder.
Yeah. Grazed his arm. Evolution.
You're going to see Batista going, I ain't dealing with that shit. Never.
No, never. No way. I'm going to go to Hollywood. I'm going to get jacked up. I'm going to star as Drax the Destroyer. And then I'm going to go and work in DC. James Gunn's going to be my best man, my best friend. And he's like, no, I'm not taking any of this silly shit.
Well, that's it. Any closing comments, Al, before we finish up for what's been a great episode?
Fantastic match right there. I really enjoy watching Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, whatever you name him. He's one of my, again, there is a reason why he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And just to watch Randy Orton at a very young age, I believe he was in his early 20s here. Just watching him just be just the little seeds of he was known as a legend killer at this time, but now he's the hardcore legend killer. So a very cool match.
No, that's awesome. All right, guys, before we finish up, we want to give a shout out to not one, but two Great Wrestling Podcast. Check these guys out.
What's up, everybody? I am the hardest part of the ring, the host of the Apron Bump podcast. And I know what you're thinking. Ugh, another wrestling podcast? How many times can I listen to fans beat up on WWE and AEW? Tell me who needs a push, who doesn't need a push, who brings Vince's coffee these days. Enough! I'm just as sick of it as you are, and that's why I created the Apron Bump. The Apron Bump is about the journey. It's about nostalgia. It's about discovering new forms of wrestling to really tickle your pickle as a wrestling fan. It's about making wrestling fun again. The podcast brings you reviews of wrestling events all over the world, tying together over 6 different promotions spanning 4 different decades. And everything is chronologically in a timeline to really allow myself and all you listeners to live through these eras while having a good time doing it. Whether it's WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW. We even cover the golden eras of Ring of Honor, Progress, TNA, and more promotions in the future as well. New episodes every Wednesday, or as some may say, Bump Day, Yeah? Go to apronbump.com or go to your favorite podcast platform or YouTube and subscribe today for the most diverse, fan-friendly wrestling podcast in the world. I'm Hard.
Main Event Marks is a retro pro wrestling podcast hosted by 2 lifelong wrestling marks and walking wrestling encyclopedias, Troy and Greg. Every Wednesday, we do a breakdown and review from a fan's perspective on some of wrestling's biggest and most forgotten shows ever, along with the industry news from that time period, taking you back in history to when that event took place. Main Event Marks is available on all podcast platforms and on YouTube. Follow us on social media at @mainevent_marks.
All right, guys, we are back, and we're at the tail end of what has been a quick episode, but a good one. We've got some other content coming out in the later part of April, going into the early part of May. Alan, where can people find you?
Right down there it says Alan Ross 84 TBK. That's my Twitter handler. That's where you can find me. You can also find me on the Insta. I've got a LinkedIn, so I'll make sure to throw that up as well too. I'm on Fortnite as well too. I do Twitch. That's TTV Roscoe Bosco 84. It's always a bit of fun trying when I get online and people, you're playing with a bunch of randoms, especially on Fortnite. Sometimes it's like, TV Roscoe? Is it Roscoe? Hey, Roscoe. And I go, yeah, what's up? Oh my God, you talk. I go, yeah, here you go. So it's always fun to hear people go, what does that mean? It's just my name, mate. It's just my name. Yeah. That's where I am,
That's actually
guys.
one thing that my son asked me to ask you, and maybe we could do a whole episode on it.
Mm-hmm.
Where did Roscoe Bosco come from?
Do you want to know now, or are we going to wait?
Is it worth a whole episode?
Nah, not really at all.
Tell us now. We've got a few minutes.
Also, too, you know what I forgot to do? Last episode, I said I was going to go find my white shirt, my TBK shirt. I totally spaced. I'm looking at myself now. I've been wearing this for the majority of the day, and I was like, I'm going to get my shirt out. I was going to get it out. I've forgotten it. Next episode, looking right in that camera, that I will wear the TBK shirt for the whole show. Now, what would you like to know? Where the name Roscoe Bosco 84 came from?
Where'd it come from?
Used to be an Australian streamer named Sam, and he was known as Aussie Battlers. And he, a couple of years ago, did online streaming on Twitch. So he would jump on there and he would do other games, like he would do COD, he would do Fortnite was his big things. He would actually run like tourneys or tournaments. So he would actually, people could jump in and actually play along. You could play alongside him or you could play against him. And it was kind of fun. Most of the time was very toxic because, again, Fortnite can be a very toxic game. And then my original name was actually this one down here when I started off on Twitch was Alan Ross 84. And just one time, just jumping into some of Sam's streams, he gave me the nickname of Roscoe. And then he just went Roscoe McBosco. And then that sort of continued after that. And I went, I really like the name of that. That's really kind of cool. So I adopted the name. I looked around online and I was like, Roscoe Bosco. No one's really gone with that name. Ross is my middle name. Bosco, it takes me back to the Seinfeld episode. If you go, the Bosco was Mr. Peterman's, I think, Elaine's boss, mother's last words before she passes. And then when you find out that it's George's pin to his actual card. And so when he goes, I've never told anybody this, and he's telling this woman who's on her deathbed and says to her, my pin there is actually Bosco. And she's like, Bosco. And then she comes alive and then she dies. And then Mr. Peterson walks in and goes, what do you mean, Mama? What does that mean? And then right at the end, the gentleman has his arm stuck in his sleeve is stuck in an ATM machine for some reason, because there's a fire also broken out thanks to Jerry and his leg falling asleep. And George gives the man his card and he goes, what's the pin of your card? And he goes, what do you need my card for? He goes, I need a pin. And then he finds out, he doesn't say it, but it's implied what happens next. So interesting enough, it's a very long story, but I'll continue going on. Sam doesn't do streaming anymore. He was at that time a very large gentleman. He's also on TikTok. Because when he was on Twitch, he was Aussie Battlers, and I think
I've heard of that before. Yeah.
He was a big boy. And when I mean a big boy, he was quite heavy on the side. And most of his streams, he would come on and he would eat chips or he would be eating shapes or something like that. And, he just looked and and his main thing too, if he actually got like a goal or something on his actual Twitch stream, he would do a shoey. Now, if you're around the world and you don't know what a shoey is, it's actually when you get a shoe and you get a beer and you tip the beer into the actual shoe and then you scull the beer out of the shoe. It's one thing I've never done and I don't particularly want to. I've done it with a glass boot with proper beer in it, and I went to an actual place and it was quite nice. I didn't scull the beer. I thoroughly enjoyed the beer. So I'm just I'm trying to think more of it now. Yeah, he doesn't stream anymore. He actually turned his life around. His life was always great. He's got a couple of kids. He's got an absolutely gorgeous wife, very much in love. And then he just all of a sudden, about 2 years ago, he started shredding the weight. The weight just disappeared, and a lot of his content that he would put up was very different stuff that we've seen and do before, where most of his stuff was sort of self-deprecating humor. He was making fun of himself, or he'd be making fun of his missus, and his missus would make fun of him. It's the Aussie style. I do that quite a lot myself. Then the content changed on the TikTok. Became a little bit more adult, a little bit more edgier. Their Instagram posts were very, very different, he and his partners. And then all of a sudden, they just came out and said, oh, yeah, we're no longer doing gaming anymore. And this little thing over here on TikTok is not going to be just for humor. We are going to promote our OF. And it was just, excuse me, baking powder? Where did this come from? It was something that we thought I never in the likes of him going, and he shredded a whole lot of weight. And then he and his missus started doing OF stuff, and he's got his own page. He promotes that quite a bit, and she's got her own page, and she promotes that quite a bit too. And I was just, he and I still talk. He still every now and again will jump online, maybe through his TikToks or even on his Insta. And he will still call me that, even though on most of my my socials I'm known as Alan Ross or just Alan. He knows who I am, so he still calls me Roscoe. But that was a very interesting tale because it only happened about 4 years ago when that and he on that time where I actually was that little nickname of Roscoe Bosco was gifted to me. I thought, you know what, I'm going to run with it. But then to see Sam and his missus to go, you know what? We're done with this little gaming business now. We're going to be grown-ups and we're going to start doing adult stuff. It was just like, sir? Wow. Okay, sir.
But it shows you how people can make money. Like you make more money, I think, doing it that way. I don't do gaming streaming. I've been keen to do it. I know streamers can make cash by promotions and discounts, promoting them, discount codes to viewers and fans. But I think OnlyFans people make a killing. And we've seen that in the entertainment world, even with pro wrestlers who've left companies making a killing, thousands of dollars a month. It's why would you want to spend time gaming if you could pull all the money this way? So, yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, I would rather... This is me personally. I've got nothing against anyone doing OF. Hey, if you want to make a buck, make a buck. I would rather sit on my beehole than show my beehole off to make money. So I'd rather be sitting on gaming on my beehole than everyone looking at it.
I want to make you a T-shirt with that now.
A beehole. I'd rather make beehole sitting on my beehole.
Yeah, like you have a controller. I'd rather sit on my beehole with a controller than show... Well, I won't draw an actual... Well,
please don't. No one needs to see that.
We might scrap that idea.
Please. That's on the maybe pile.
Well, I was going to think, where's he going to wear it? Like,
I'm not wearing it on the show. I'm not wearing it here.
It just sits on the background like there.
Blurred. The actual asshole is blurred. We can't put this on two... We have to take the shirt down. Why? It's promotional. I don't care. We're not doing it, Al. YouTube it's striked our channel twice now. That's enough. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, there we go. I've always wanted to know where Roscoe Bosco come from because I'm like, I've known you on PlayStation for a while, but I'm like, I wonder why he changed his name. And then my son goes, ask him tonight. Ask Uncle, where did he get the name from? I said, okay, I'll tell him. So. Yeah,
just tell him the first half. You don't need to tell what happened, how the ending is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell him when he's older. There we go.
Yeah, tell him that.
Well, guys, this is it for what has been a great episode. You can actually check us out on all of our social streams, on our Twitter, our Instagram, our LinkedIn, and also check us out again on the Universal Wrestling Podcast, and that's at the UW Pod. That again is the UW Pod. And thank you again to Nick, to Keith for inviting us to actually be on your channel going forward. We've had our YouTube for a while. They've got a great following, the Bloodline Entertainment Network, all the great shows on there, Wrestling DeLorean, The Tim King Show, Top Rope Wrestling Talk, Circle of Debate, Clark Street Wrestling, and now the broadcast is slowly adding some international flavour to that. But once again, as I say each and every episode, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or
good night.